Hi, and welcome to video 5 of Function Basics. In this video, we will talk about some of the good practices, ways to do things. You can also refer back to your Tidyverse style guide, which was referenced up in the beginning section. So if you come back here, see the Tidyverse style guide, go back and read through that again now that you know something about functions. This will reinforce your good practices of how to write a function. So, function naming. Pick either snake case, which has the underscores connecting the words, or camel case, where you use a capital letter to differentiate the new words. But don't use both. So pick one and stick with that for your functions. You'll notice all the Tidyverse stuff has snake case, and a lot of the base R has camel case. Choose meaningful names, preferably verbs. Now, if you're writing a whole family of functions, it's helpful to start with the same word, because then RStudio will pull up for you all of the functions that start with those letters. That way, if you forget what you named a function, it's a little easier to find. Try not to overwrite common functions or variables. So you don't want to call something C, for instance, because the C is the concatenate function, so you try not to overwrite things like that. Now, use a lot of comments in your code, particularly to explain why you're doing something. The how should sort of speak for itself, but remember, you're documenting this for someone else who's picking up your code and trying to build on top of it. But mostly you're documenting it for future you, right? You're going to come back to this code in a week or a month or a year or 5 years, and you're not going to have a clue what you did or why you did it. So write yourself some notes. Leave yourself some breadcrumbs to follow. Okay? Now, our next exercise is to read these very poorly named functions, play with them a little bit, and come up with better names for the functions. Figure out what in fact they do and rename the function. So in your R Markdown, you'll copy the functions, and then you will just tell me what the new name for each of those functions should be. Okay, and then come back and we'll do video 6 in our lecture set.